Hello, my name is Hanna Hoyne. I'm a sculptor and I've been sewing artworks for a long time, about 30 years. I sew sculpture, but I also make outdoor sculpture. For a short time I had a clothes label that upcycled clothes for kids called Kinderhoons. That was trying to keep garments from landfill essentially. So today we're looking at visible mending and how you can give clothes a new life and how to rebuild clothes essentially. So I think it's super exciting to do something like fashion intervention, fashion surgery, so that the fashion that you bring into your house, you intervene and think about how can I change this with something that I already have, and you give the stuff that you have a little bit of thought, which kind of by default gives it a bit of love, and it means that you build more of a relationship with the things that are around you. So not just sewing stuff over holes, but actually reshaping and making something new. Like you can put two garments together to make a new thing quite simply. I'm not a tailor. I can't sew with patterns from the shop. I just make it up flat. So really simple ways, that's what we're hoping to show you. So let's go and have a look. So really quickly an overview of some of the things that you can combine or take apart, rework some stuff is, this is for example a blanket combined with a t-shirt cut in half and then stitched top and bottom. This one is summer pants that I like the colour of, where the waistband, you can see here, becomes the neck and it's a t-shirt. This one was a fabulous dressing gown that I just love but I'd never wore. I made it into two shirts. This again is the mother's dress and the child's dress made out of the same blanket with some ribbing. This one is a bed sheet, a fitted bed sheet that was a nice fabric, made into a shirt with a bit of house paint, and that's some old jeans recombined with a bit of ribbing for the top and the bottom. So you can see that there's no limit to combinations of colour, really what tickles your fancy, what the style that you want to use. Just combine, you can use little trims to really make something pop, or you can use really bold colour. There's just no end to things, and don't be shy of house paint, house insulation foil. You can do whatever you want. There's no rules. What we quickly look at is things you can save. So for example, wool rests. If you're sitting watching TV at night, you can make cute mini jumpers or big jumpers, but just by stitching patches together. Then the other method that I did was 2-in-1. So I was talking about already cutting off sleeves. So this was a big cardigan, a big wool cardigan. This is wool and then a little old t-shirt. So if you keep the t-shirts and things from your kids, for example, so like little t-shirts, you can use them as ribbing. So this one was such a t-shirt, the blue, and then I made it into a little jumper. There's two ways of approaching this, and actually this was one of the things that got me really thinking. If you're working with already existing objects, garments, a lot of the tailoring and a lot of the stitching is already done for you. So be clever about where is a seam that can already be my bottom hem. Where is the thing that can already sit over the curved part of me? So a lot of the work is done already, and a lot of the style is done already, a lot of the fabric is done already. On the other hand, if you want a blank canvas, which I also sometimes want, go to Vinnie's and go to the section where there's either recycled fabric or bedding. So I, for example, went to the blankets because I wanted to have the freedom of having a whole, big expanse of fabric. And so I looked for the really beautiful sheets and for the really beautiful blankets. And that's where I then made jackets and dresses and shirts. So with this beautiful little turtleneck that has got holes where the ribbing of the neck attaches, sort of like here on the top of your collarbone, I would probably cut this ribbing off and save it for another project, another jumper or something. This was Zoe's beloved soft little turtleneck jumper, and it has a hole there and then another hole on the other side. So we're gonna just measure the top of her shoulders. There's a sort of a bone there. I think that's from the collarbone, the end of the collarbone. We're gonna measure 2 fingers in from where the seam of the sleeves is, because one finger allowance is whatever we're going to attach into the neckline, and then we're just going to sew straight across because she wants to be able to wear a scarf but not have cold shoulders, because her shoulders will be sticking out there. Okay, so then we have 2 fingers. There's my 2 fingers. Voila. So I'm going to cut a really straight line, and so then the holes that Zoe had are here and here, and of course the holes don't matter anymore because we'll use all of this. Just going to cut about this much so that we have extra, and we're going to sew it this way around onto the rim, fold it in, iron it, and then we can invisibly stitch it on the inside. What we'll do is we'll give it a little bit of a curve, just a little bit of the same curve as the neckline. Okay, this is our 10-minute stitch and pitch. What we're doing is we've just pinned it into place, and then we're just basting this little bit of ribbing on. Basting means that you're using quite long stitches. Voila. So the stage we're at is we have just hand basted on this little bit of ribbing. We just tuck it down and in. But my recommendation is that we leave it a little bit fluffy to hide the imperfections. I mean, that's it without any ironing, having touched it. Let's try it on. Yep, I've just folded this little bit in, ironed that flat, tucked it under. So that's the little, you can sew that together, but you can also just iron it and tuck it in. And then tuck it in. If you want, inside you can still stitch it, hand stitch it. The next thing that we're going to do is we are going to look at visible mending. So visible mending is anything that you can imagine, anything from fabulous patches to how to, you know, when people used to darn socks. The way I solved it was with felt patches like this. So the reason I used felt on wool is because felt and wool merge. They basically felt together. So wool, beautiful wool, especially if it's quite thin and fine, it's very vulnerable to moths eating it. And I don't love the smell of mothballs, so moths come in my cupboards. But, and often if you find some good jumper at Vinnie's, it will have a moth hole somewhere. The best way to cut a circle, if you don't have a circle like a jam jar template, is to make a square that you fold into a triangle, and then we just vaguely cut along and hope for the best. Okay, this could be an awful circle, nearly a circle. And then you could just whack that on there, and then you just stitch around it with a nice colour. Ta-da! So all you have to do is try it on and fiddle with it. If it's not quite right, you can add a patch if you like, or take it away. I think we should have it. And feel glorious. And it really didn't take long. It took like 15-20 minutes maximum. So hopefully you're inspired and go and find some Fossick in some op shops or in your own wardrobe, and rethink how you can combine some things that you've previously really loved and think, oh, these two could marry nicely together. Yeah, cut them up and recombine them.